Hello, greetings, and welcome back to Global Caregiver TV. I like to say Caregiver Central, Caregiver Without Borders, because we want to talk about caregiving, the long-term care industry globally. Though we're based here in the U.S., I want to share with you that many countries still have not set up a system to care for their elderly and vulnerable citizens. I just want to remind caregivers today in this series that I called Caring for the Caregiver, or who is going to care for the caregiver. Because without caregivers, whether you're a CNA, a HHA, that means home health aide for those of you who are not familiar with the terms, a patient care technician, not to forget the millions of family caregivers. Wherever you fit in this conversation, I have to first and foremost say you rock. Do you know this is the fastest growing job in the world? I hate the word job, just over broke. Vocation, profession in the world. We're in high demand and short supply globally once again. I think the pandemic opened the cracks, the gaping wound that's been our long-term care industry since after World War II. Many of you perhaps weren't even born or know much about it. But we need to fix this system, this industry, and I'm going to be out there ranting until somebody listens to me. But let's narrow it down. As you can see, I could rant. Let's narrow this down today on caregivers caring for themselves. I know we ought to go into caregiving with that frame of mind. You know, you hear the cliche and the talking points. Caregivers got to care for themselves first. Don't keep postponing your appointments, whether they're medical appointments, mental health appointments, spending time with your young children or with your elderly parents. But time out for yourselves. We know it can be the most demanding job in the world. Some people term it as if you're caring for someone, it's a continuous and sometimes thankless job. Not in every situation. There are many caregivers and family caregivers who get tremendous joy and benefits from caring for someone else. It does take a physical and emotional toll with extreme burnout if you don't start caring for yourself. So I'm encouraging you today to find ways and resources wherever you're located, whatever city in the US or Canada, Australia. By the way, in Australia, New Zealand, and the UK, we call them carers. Same thing, same difference. So once again, I'm just reminding you to remember that you are needed. The world needs caregivers more and more so, and we're going to be depending on them more and more. Every 30 seconds, there is a new diagnosis of dementia happening somewhere in the globe. Baby boomers have aged. Many of them are caring for themselves, and some are even caring for their elderly parents. Many young people. There are people out there who have car accidents, other accidents. So we just want to dispel the myth that caregivers only care for, quote, old people. Like that's a bad thing. The majority of the people who benefit from long-term care are usually the elderly, the frail elderly, but mostly the world's global citizens. And caregivers care for individuals from the cradle to the grave. There are babies born with disabilities. People get sick when they're 20s and 30s. Not every caregiver is going to be a nurse. Not every nurse is a caregiver. Many nurses have become caregivers like myself at the latter part of my career. The latter part, I'm in the midst of a career, and I'm not going to tell you how my age, off the table, but I'm not vain. And I know I look good, by the way, because I think my mind I try to work on my mind and false, repetitive, negative thinking daily. That's another conversation and another channel, Mental Health Global. You'll see me there in another couple of weeks. I want to apologize once again for a long absence on YouTube. Many times I've started a YouTube channel and someone's hiring me to do the same thing that I'm having this conversation about. That's a great thing that I feel useful. I have, in this, I would say job security if I could work till I'm 80. I've been a care manager in the San Francisco Bay Area for many moons Word gets around of my skills, my great sense of humor. I've traveled widely, so I'm not the run-of-the-mill caregiver who is toiling day and night. But I'm not special or different from them. Families have allowed me to care and to also hire caregivers to create a team to care for mom and dad, uncle, aunt, whoever. So I've had some great opportunities, but I'm also focused on those caregivers, those immigrant women, brown, black, white, poor women, middle-class women, who toil day and night, going to nursing homes where they're sometimes marginalized and not given the right recognition for the pivotal work they do, keeping our elderly and vulnerable citizens in good care. Many people want to remain in their homes, to live, recuperate, rehabilitate, and die. They want to be in a place where that's familiar to them, around their pets and their plants and nosy neighbors. No one wants to go to a nursing home. That's not sustainable. Everyone is not going to age at home. Many of us are aging very unhealthy, and that's another conversation. How are we going to be aging in the future? Because the system is so fractured right now. So rather than ramble on the rest of the day, I just wanted to say a quick shout out to all the caregivers out there in the world, from San Francisco to New York, Philadelphia, Idaho, Iowa. We need you. The world needs you. They need us. I'm also still in that field. And I just think it's something we overlook. By the way, everybody's job is important if that's what's putting food and on your table and a roof over your head. We want to remind you, many caregivers are also leaning on government subsidies, whether for housing, for food, because they're not being paid enough. So we're going to say today, please pay caregivers a living wage and pay them compliments later. They're the heart and soul of this industry, have been since the beginning of time. And as the series continue, how we're going to fix the long-term care industry, caring for the caregivers. Today, take a minute and breathe and care for yourself. See you in the next video. I am Beverly, and I'm a caregiver. I look forward to meeting you once again.